Forward TV. The world is thinking.
Here's an example of how you can both trust and not trust this data. Look at the type field. Once again, these are not our fields. These are US military. The only one that is ours is this severity score, but that is built out of the fields that were internally declared by the US military. This type field has friendly fire, 148. Actually, I'd be quite surprised if it was that low. But nonetheless, internally declared 148 friendly fire events. Now we look into category and we see blue on blue. This means Allied forces firing on Allied forces, basically, which is a type of friendly fire. And we see 18 reports. We also look at blue on green. This is Allied forces attacking Afghan troops and police. 10 reports. Blue on white, Allied forces attacking civilians. Blue dash white, another way of saying exactly the same thing. But we add all these up and the green on blue and and we don't get anything near 148. Okay, so the reports are not all categorized in the right way. Categorizations change. People don't want to categorize their activity as being some type of something that they may get investigated for. The troops are very busy, they don't bother to fill these out, etc. But it gives you something. I mean, it's something quite significant.
Given that so many of the things that you talk about are civilian casualties, and yet what we see there when they talk about blue on white, the figures are so low.
That's right.
Does that lead you to believe there is a sort of massive attempt at deception? You know, that they simply do not want to write down anything on white. They will do everything they possibly can to conceal this.
Well, the units are involved. You know, it's like this old a phrase that came home to us, unfortunately, in Kenya, where two lawyers that we were working with were gunned down in broad daylight in March in 2009. Who were investigating extrajudicial police assassinations, that murderers will commit murder to cover up murder. So people who are very proximal to the crime often have intense incentives to even murder to cover up murder. So misfiling a report is, of course, nothing. But we do see escalation of force in here, and that had 2,100 reports. So that's a bit more significant. And so they didn't classify these escalation of force events as blue on white, they classified them as an escalation of force instead of blue on white, Allied on civilians.